Even before last week's torrential rain, it had been a pretty ordinary summer for ACTEW. Domestic water consumption was down dramatically, and the much-heralded Cotter Dam was well behind schedule and a fair bit over budget. Now it's in big trouble. Workers are losing their jobs, and there's at least another 3-month delay. And as for the budget, well, who knows? Mark Sullivan is ACTEW's boss, and he joins me now. Mark Sullivan, thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Ross.
When this is finished, when the dam's finished, do you think we'll get much change out of $500 million?
I believe so. I think, the current budget is $363 million. I think we are going to go over budget. The flood event is the icing on the cake. We have to sort through just how long an event this is going to be, what the insurance implications are, and then we'll come up with a budget. But if you said, did you have room within $500 million to operate, I'd be very, very confident that we would.
Because even before the floods, there was a suggestion you were about $30 million over budget. Now you have to add the cost of the clean-up, the further delays. You're getting over $400 million now. It's starting to push up towards $500 million.
It's pushing up, but it's not going to push up by that far. I mean, we don't know the number yet. We've worked this as a part of a suite of projects, and there's good news on other elements of the suite, which means we'll save some money there in terms of Murrumbidgee to Googong pipeline, as well as the Googong spillway projects, which we completed, will be completed under budget.
But considering when you initially floated this whole proposal, the budget was under $200 million. Now, then it blew out to over $200 million, then $300 odd million. If you had gone to the government or gone to the ratepayers and said, we're going to build this dam, it's going to cost over $400 million, do you think it would have got support?
Well, we've gone back and had a look at the economic analysis that we went to talk to government and said this is good value at $363 million. If it had been $400 million, it was good value. It still was good value. The value proposition goes on for a fair while. So I think I'd be confident they would. I mean,
you staked your reputation. You said at the time when it blew out to $360 million, you said that's the price tag. I staked my reputation on this.
That's right, and I said I expect scrutiny if I go over it.
And you're going to go over it.
I'm going to go over it, and the one thing I can't control is wet and flood. Rain and flood is one proposition that I'm happy to be held accountable. I am accountable for the end budget of the dam, and I'm comfortable in having the level of scrutiny that I talked about that day imposed on me, and I'd be very confident that the dam budget has been managed, I believe, very effectively.
How will we pick up the shortfall, do you think? How will we pick up the budget that we've blown?
I think there's some options. I mean, how do you pick it up practically is that ACTEW will have to borrow some more money to pay for it. Then the question is, well, who should pay for it? And I think at one level...
Because already ratepayers were being slugged an extra $100, I think it was $100.
That's right, for the suite of water security projects. There would be an argument, and I think you should listen to an argument that says ACTEW should pay for it. ACTEW should absorb it and works through over a long period of time, which is the life of a dam, how can we cover it? Another alternative would be to ask our shareholders to pay for it, or a third alternative would be to say, well, ratepayers have to pay for it. That's something I've got to talk more to my board about and to the shareholders.
Do you have a favoured position?
I think it's... I think my position would be that we went to the water payers of Canberra with $363 million, and that we should examine hard whether ACTEW could absorb that in a way other than by raising water prices.
And just in terms of looking after water, here in the ACT at the moment it's split between ACTEW and ACTEW AGL. Do you think that's sustainable in the long term?
I wonder about it. I think the joint venture around energy, retail and water was a wonderful idea and has delivered huge benefits to Canberra. I worry sometimes that there is not a total cohesiveness in the management of the water business, because the operations are run out of ACTEW AGL and the asset management, the strategic management of the projects are run out of ACTEW. I think that's a question that's taken up a lot of my time at the moment. My inclination would be to test that question, and I think my position would be I'd like to see ACTEW run its water business on behalf of the people of Canberra.
And just in terms of the summer we've just had, how much water have we used in Canberra and what's it meant for your bottom line?
Well, we don't use much water at all in Canberra in this summer. I mean, Canberra works like this. Our internal water usage is about 100, 120 megalitres a day. Doesn't matter what season it is. In summer, we expect more than double that.
And you rely on that? We
rely upon that in terms of our revenue forecasts. And it determines also the price of water. This summer, we've had little or no external irrigation, so our water revenue is down by a half because there's a provider who doesn't charge for the water, providing it for the irrigation. And I mean, you wear that and you basically say maybe over the averages, you'll pick it up. You know, we've just emerged from drought where we had to artificially restrict water use. Now we've had 2 years of rain and we're restricted it even more because no one wants to use it.
Mark Sullivan, thanks for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure.